Hello everyone, today I'll be sharing with you my recommended books. So obviously I won't say that these books will change your life unless you implement it, because there is so much that a book can do if you're not willing to do. The first book that I recommend you to read is Robert Kiyosaki. So far I've only read 2 of his books. The first one is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the second, which I have just finished, is Increasing Your Financial IQ. So this book is like an answer to most of the questions that I've had in my life. Like since I was very little, I used to have these questions like, why do we have to go to school? Why do my parents work so hard to make money for us to be happy and like for us to spend it? And why, who made the paper money, and why do we have to keep our money in the banks? Like, why can't I just keep it for myself? Why can't I do it myself? Like, why do I have to give it to somebody else? So those questions are answered with this book that Robert wrote, which the answer was already obvious before. Like as I grew up and grow older, like we know the system is messed up, is pretty messed up. The world system is messed up, and Robert teaches us how we could manage. So I really recommend, even if you're not an entrepreneur or interested in business, at least you have to know something about money and finances so that you're not destroyed for your lack of knowledge. And the second book that I recommend is The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. So I tried actually reading his other book, which right now is 30 Days to a Perfect Life, if I'm not mistaken. But I've just been 20 pages deep, and it refers a lot to New Age and also yoga and those kind of stuff. So as a Christian, like we know that those things are demonic. The root origin story of yoga and New Age is demonic. So if you didn't know about that yet, I recommend you to just do your own research. And I'm not here to argue with anyone, so I kind of like put on hold in this new book that I'm reading from Robin Sharma. But I finished reading The 5 a.m. Club 2 years ago. That's when I was fasting and waking up early, and this book was like all about the morning person routine, the morning successful people routine. So that was like really an experience for me when I was reading that at that moment, and I was very motivated by the book. And it's kind of like a motivational book, a self-help book, but in a format of novel. So it was really interesting, and I really recommend that book. And it didn't refer a lot to meditation or like yoga and New Age kind of stuff. So I would say that is safe to read. And the third book that I recommend to read is It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lisa Turkist. So that time was actually at the same kind of period of time where when I was reading The 5 a.m. Club. It's not so far from there, and I've actually like seen other pastors, because Lisa Turkist are friends with pastors, like she's a Christian minister. So I didn't know about her at that time, and I saw her pastor friends posted about the book, and I was really curious about that. But so at that time I was living in my apartment and I was like very disappointed with a person that I really trust. I felt very lied to, and then this book just sitting there in the library of my apartment, and when I read it, I was kind of like want to bawl my eyes out. And it really taught me a lot about relationships. So the book is about her husband and her when her husband cheated on her, and I really appreciate their bravery and their courage to share the story, and the big heart that Lisa has, and also her husband, to talk about the things that they went through, because it helped, I'm sure it helped a lot of people as it helped me too, because we often just put expectations on people, like even though they are our closest friends and family and whoever, but nobody can really live up to the expectation that we have, or like nobody is exempt from like betraying us. We don't wish for anyone to betray us or lie to us or whatever, but we can't deny that oftentimes it happens, if not once or twice, even with our closest people. So you get my point. So that book really helped a lot in regards of relationship and all of those kind of stuff. So that is the third book that I recommend you to read. And the fourth book that I recommend to read is a novel called Angels Unlimited. So this is actually, I think, a kid's novel. I don't know, because I bought this novel, like this novel is very thin, and I bought it when I was so young and so little, and I was like, I think only read a few pages and got so bored and I didn't finish it at all, and I've just read it when I grew older, which was like 2 years ago. And it was very eye-opening, because this novel is about angels who are assigned to us and them like fulfilling their calling and their duty to fight for our battles and those kind of stuff. So yeah, as Christians, we know that angels exist, and they, I don't know why I'm being emotional right now, but yeah, I'm just really grateful for my angels. They were protecting me and fighting for me. So it's a really good book that I would suggest you to like gift it to your family members who are younger, or whoever, kids that you know. I really recommend that novel. The last but the most important is, of course, the good old Bible. Like, I don't suggest anyone to read any kind of book unless they read and learn the Bible, because everything just comes back to the pearls of the Bible. Like even Robert Kiyosaki teaches finances based on biblical principles like tithing, and his moral values are very biblical. And I would not suggest people to read self-help books or motivational books before they read the Bible, because other than being dependent on the Holy Spirit and God, if you read motivational and self-help, you would just like be so easily strayed with your own path that you think is straight, which could lead to something that isn't good and not from God. So we really have to be very vigilant of the teachings that we read and we consume. So therefore, nothing else matters. If it's not true, it would just be like deception, because the enemy can appear as an angel of light. So we have to be wise and vigilant and filtering everything. so that what we learn is based on the Bible and not doctrines of demons, like I've kind of explained before in the beginning. So those are the books that I recommend you to read. I hope you find some of your favorite books from my suggestions here, and also please suggest me the books that you enjoyed reading. I would really like to know what books that would add value and enrich our minds and soul. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.